Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. I see Algo Lover saying, DN if buyers break above 130.07.5. Well, that was certainly the key level we were looking at yesterday. But it's pretty complicated here. So if we come to the charts and we look at the 10-year, yesterday we had a good move up. We had a very good move up. Remember, we had this huge move down in cumulative delta, and then it snapped back on them. And then after it snapping back down on them, it came back down. And now we are ranging just a little bit. So that move up was largely somebody getting stopped out, as far as I can tell. But we are a little bit higher. There's still this point of control up here. Some interesting areas. Notice here at 130.08 half, and I think we could say 07 half. There's a volume area that they're going to be interested in, I guess we could say. So, and then over here in the E-mini, we had a little bit of a move down yesterday, but not huge. I thought that I had a really good winner going on to the downside, but then it did not continue out, so that's okay. It's just kind of how it goes sometimes. Meanwhile, the New York Fed takes 30 billion of securities in 14-day term repo operation, and the repo was 2 times oversubscribed. So they only sold 30 billion of securities, but there was 60 billion out there that wanted and didn't get filled. So, okay. The other thing that I'm reading is that the English Supreme Court said that the suspension of Parliament was illegal. And it was a unanimous decision, which is highly unexpected and unusual. I've been seeing some people theorizing in a conspiracy theory that that maybe the Queen was a little upset about being forced by Johnson to do that, and she went and talked to people, we'll say. Totally a possibility. Anyways, and then here for Tuesday, we don't have a whole lot of anything on the calendar here for the 24th. At 7 o'clock, we have HPI, and we have consumer confidence at 8, which again is an important number. We saw the first in consumer confidence number, so now this is the CB consumer confidence key number. And that means when we combine that with the tight overnight action and the fact that it is the later half of the month, we are pretty likely to see a fairly quiet day. Wrong saying I have trouble with connection around every same time. Yeah, I wonder if we should take it off of high latency mode. I can't do that right now, but how about tomorrow? We'll take it off of high latency mode, and I'll see if things work better for you. Wrong. Okay? Because I didn't start seeing comments about those sorts of things until we did that. So, anyways, let's pull up Discord here. Put in a quick little note here. And I have some food, so I'm going to eat a little bit. Good number of people tuned in today, so thank you guys for watching. Lucas says, "Morning. This is frustrating." So I'm assuming that you've been trading already a little bit and been having trouble. I have trouble with the VPN. Don't worry, nothing wrong with the stream. Okay, you say so. Yeah, like they've been saying, it's almost everybody in China's been reporting trouble with them. I think that that some of those data centers and stuff have been getting um, denial of service attacks, that sort of a thing. Well, yeah, I don't know, Lucas. Just looking at kind of my stats, I'm really thinking I'm going to make these stats available to everybody. By the way, Ninja Trader approached me the other day. They're like, "Hey, you can become a vendor, and here's the process." And I was interested, and I've been looking at it. I have to make a website, but I can totally do that. Um, and I think I want to give you guys like all of the stats. So like, there's some stuff that we have like already out there, right? But I can give you like the full thing. So like, I can give you the stats indicator that gives you um the full stats of like all 10 things that uh what's that Futures Trader 71 talks about, and even some more tests. It's a ton of them, and we could program some more for people. Um, and uh, the level 2 histograms and all that sort of stuff. Like we could get a little package, put it all together with stats. Maybe like $20 for the whole thing or something like that. Would be cheap. Some of the indicators that being offered out there, the prices that they charge are ridiculous. So I maybe it's worth. Maybe people are willing to spend hundreds of dollars on it, but I I know what it takes to program it, and I know the audience out there, and I say we put it out for $20. We let everybody that trades Ninja Trader come out and get it, because everybody should have these, should be trying to use these kinds of stats. You know, could be cool. So we could give you guys that stuff. Okay, so they just made a new high there. Well, I don't know, but the stats that I have say that it's probably going to be a little bit of a range bound day, but we just had a new high there. So I'm still going to say we got to be cautious, and so I'm going to wait on it coming back. Trying to take it after she goes might not be as good of a trade in this particular situation. Unless they really just want to push it up. We'll see, won't we? I have some food. Let me eat my food here, all right? Now I forgot to turn on auto read.
YouTube, wrong ZH. How you doing, Uzi?
There we go.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. There's a boatload of options activity at 162 in ZB for Wednesday and Friday expiries. Upside targets at 61, 29, 62, 13 on the daily and still 62, 27 on the weekly. Grinning face with big eyes. YouTube, Uzi Knesset. Good wrong. How you?
I mean, the thing that's interesting about this move up is that it didn't really take a push for it to happen. It just kind of, the volume just kind of came through. And they're not pushing it yet, so it might not be done. Might not be done. But I think I need to stick to my stats, so it's kind of like, I gotta wait for a pullback.
YouTube,
Probably.
wrong ZH, good slightly smiling face happy phobia here.
So that would be like, what, 04.5? 04.5 is where we spent all that time yesterday too, wasn't it? Yep. This is like where we sat forever and we thought, oh, it's going to go up. And then it never did. It came down first and then they went up. Hmm. UK Prime Minister Johnson defiant as sources insist he will not resign. Of course not.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, CQG has a mobile app with a discount DOM on it. Kinda surprised how accurate the data was.
Yeah? They have like current trades? I tried I tried doing that. Well, let me see here. It was like it's still in beta, right? Oh, my Android is updating. No, I tried pulling it out, and I couldn't get it to connect
YouTube,
to my account.
IQGM. YouTube, Uzi Knesset, they don't have current trades though.
Yeah, but I think if you're trading on mobile, you can't be trading on order flow. You know what I mean? I think that you would, if you were doing that, you would want to be doing some sort of like a swing trading
YouTube,
strategy.
Uzi
You know?
Knesset, I wouldn't use it to trade myself, but you can still watch it lol.
Yeah. I think that I would like, so like, yesterday is a good example, although it's also a bad example because it would have been a loser. But, yesterday I was like, this is a good sell. I caught a good location. I would like to let it run. And then if it comes back on me far enough, then I'll, take it off. Because there's a possibility that the index just completely falls out. And, I could take the trade. And then if I have it on my phone, then I could be there at work and I could be looking at it and, uh, see that it hits the stop and the phone gives me the notification that it hits, I think for swing trading, it would be an important thing to have, but maybe not. Cat Turd has an interesting thought here. I don't want to say who I think the Ukraine whistleblower is, but here's a little hint. Cough, cough, cough. John Bolton, cough, cough.
YouTube, wrong ZH, I trade NQIM looking for 5 to 10 point. YouTube, wrong ZH, let's do this. YouTube, Uzi Knesset, here comes the buzz at 62.
Well, the first set of levels that I see here between this '05 and '07 level in the 30 year, there's kind of a low profile from yesterday as they got sucked up into '09. So let me just draw that on there for you to explain why I'm that's significant. Is what they're saying is last time they did this, they didn't want to spend a whole lot of time here. Now that could change this time. This time they might say, okay, we don't want it to trade '07. They might try and push it down here. It's just like a spot. We don't know if there's anything important about it or not, but it's one place we should be watching. They're still not giving us anything that says that it's like overdone. While that sure is a lot of contracts at '07, iceberging on the offer today. 7K on the offer, that's a lot. Big or Miss mentioned '07 as well. I'm a little skeptical about this move just because I don't know where it's coming from, but we do have to admit at the same time that the market regime that we've been in, it doesn't matter, right? So it's a tough call for me. I don't know. They're pushing down at '06.5, but I think that they're likely to stick around here for a while. I think this is a tough trade. If you had gotten long, if I had gotten long at 04, I think what I just saw there at 07, I would hope that I would take it off. I might be thinking, oh, well, we can go for more. I mean, look, we got 5. But I don't really completely understand why they come up here. Well, look at that. Look at that bid. 070. How much did he put on there? 1815 bid. I don't know, guys. He just bought a lot there. I suppose one risk out there that we haven't talked about today.
YouTube, wrong ZH, tie 2K block order.
It's pretty big. One risk that we haven't talked about is that the Democrats are supposed to have a caucus meeting this morning.
YouTube, wrong ZH, did you get that?
I saw a 2K block order go through at 070. Actually, you can see it down here in the bottom corner of the screen because our chat window was gone for the moment. 23.99. There has been some pushback. They're still fighting over the price. I'd say that was pretty aggressive buying, though. Did Donald Trump talk about Greta? Oh, dear. No way. That's 3 days ago. Transcript. Blah, blah, blah. Wonderful meeting. She seems like a very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future. So nice to see. And then the quote from Wired is, people are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. So can somebody explain this? Because this was the one part about her speech that was the most bewildering to me, is like, who is dying today? Like, are we saying that all of these deaths from hurricanes are due to climate change? Like, that's a little, that's not accurate. You know, that's not a fair. It wouldn't be fair to attribute hurricane deaths to climate change, because hurricanes would happen either way. Maybe they might not be as severe, but it's a little unfair to like completely blame it on climate change, you know? That whole thing is weird. So there was definitely a push there. You can see it happen now. 07 has gone offer again. This could still reverse. Um, uh, the reason I say is because it appeared to me that he was pushing.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, you can't expect too much accuracy when your movement is led by children.
Well, don't get me started, dude. They were gonna push it up there, and that didn't go that time. So they might be over. They might be trapped. If we move down, I think that they could get trapped. I mean, here's the thing, Uzi, is like, she is 16, right? Uh, but like, the problem I have with that speech, I was seeing a lot of people saying, well, what she said was entirely accurate. And I'm thinking, well, like, what facts did she bring up? She didn't really bring up there weren't any numbers or anything like that in her speech. It was basically just like, shame on you guys in the UN for not doing more. And like when you look at like what she's saying on that front, it's actually really kind of crazy, right? Because she was saying, okay, the projections that you guys put down to that we would have a 50% chance of averting.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Good morning, fine sir.
Hey, good morning,
YouTube,
Rich.
Uzi Knesset. She's also a terrible actress.
She's also a well, she's not. She's you. So here's the thing. I don't think that everybody realizes, but she is autistic, and I know that's not going to be a popular thing because everybody's being like, oh, well, they're smearing her. I think it's a relevant fact to keep in mind when you're watching her give this speech, okay? Because she was like coming in and she was saying, well, shame on you guys for not doing more to fight climate change, and how can you come in here and do this, and then you must be evil that you're not doing more or something like that. And I'm like, well, that is exactly what an autistic person would say, because they can't look at other people's perspectives. They can't see through the eyes of somebody else. It's like, honestly, if a 50% chance of averting a irreversible climate crisis is not good enough, okay, think about all of the things that we have to do to just meet that goal. And then to do what you're claiming, it's basically like everybody would have to completely give up their lives, right? That it would have to completely give up all fossil fuels. I highly doubt that anybody in China is going to do that, let alone people in the United States. Okay, it's not a very realistic thing, and you can't go in and double or triple everybody's power bill and then get reelected. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly the sort of a thing that an autistic person isn't going to understand, because they have difficulty seeing things from other people's point of view and compartmentalizing things and dealing with cognitive dissonance, right? So they can't sit down and say, well, in this situation, I use this framework of thought, and in this situation, I use this framework of thought, because even if I want to do something about climate change, I have to consider that not everybody wants to, and I'm going to have to moderate what I say and moderate my strategy in order to convince them to do what we got to do. And running out and saying that you have to basically go back out into the Stone Age and that's the only acceptable answer is not something that is going to be very popular. And you can't get reelected if you go and you say that. And so it's kind of nonsensical to go in and call the world leaders corrupt or something because they don't do exactly what you say that you believe they should do because of climate change, right? It's like her condition, her disorder is directly relevant to what she's saying and why she's saying it. You know what I mean? I don't think that she has a kid is really all that big of a deal, but let's give up our possessions and live in the forest with Bigfoot, says Gary Rich. It's kind of weird. So what did Uzi say here? Personally, I don't think the world or the discourse in general should kowtow because someone had the smarts to use a TISM as a spokesperson. Yeah, I don't know. Like the whole thing is just kind of. I mean, the thing that bothers me about it is that any time that I see somebody using a kid to push politics like that, that just reeks of manipulation, and that automatically makes me want to doubt or oppose
YouTube,
them.
wrong ZH. How dare you, grinning face with smiling eyes.
Right? I'm sure that people would accuse me of slander, but it's the effing truth, guys. It's directly relevant to what's going on here. And the kind of the reason why I say that, like personally, I am not a climate change scientist, okay? So it's not my area of expertise. I don't comment on whether I think global warming is true or not because I'm not qualified to make that kind of a determination. And I
YouTube,
don't.
Uzi Knesset. Absolutely. You have this girl screaming, how dare you rob me of my dreams? Oh yeah, dreams of what? Nationwide media coverage? The cover of every magazine in the world? Speaking before the UN?
Right? Well, like, and that's the thing that I think is really
YouTube, Gary
weird.
Rich, lecturing me on climate change is like AMSR. YouTube, Uzi Knesset, meeting presidents? Being able to ditch school to travel the world? Girls 16 and she's accomplished more than most of us ever will.
Well, like that's the other thing is like a key part of her story that I don't think that everybody realizes is that her anxiety over climate change was so severe that she basically wasn't able to complete school. And all I'm saying, I'm not trying to slander people, okay? But I'm just saying it's a fact that she has autism, and I'm just saying to you people that believe in climate change, and again, I don't have an opinion on whether it's true or not because I'm not qualified to make that kind of a determination, and I don't trust all of the people that are saying either ways because they have their own agendas. So it's impossible for me to know for sure. Okay? But if you do believe in climate change, I wouldn't recommend taking your political cues from an autistic girl. That's not smart because they're not good at that sort of a thing. You know? That's why it's part of why it's relevant, right? But then to the other part that you were saying is like, how dare you rob me of my dreams? Listen, the world's not going to end in 10 years, okay? Like there are projections by the end of the century is like 4 degrees centigrade increase in global temperatures. That's not the end of the world. In fact, I don't even think that is the highest that temperatures have ever been in the history of the world and the history of life on the world. Yeah, it'll be a big change for everybody. It will certainly be a problem, and it's certainly something to be
YouTube,
concerned
Uzi
about.
Knesset, she gonna skate off into the sunset with moneybags over her shoulders like Christine Blasey Ford did.
Could be. But we're not going to die. Your kids aren't going to die. Your children's children aren't going to die. And probably even your children's 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 children aren't going to die. Okay? So let's tone down the rhetoric just a little bit, everybody. Just a little bit. And yeah, she's probably making tons of money off of it. Well, her parents are, right? Probably. But, you know, I mean, she can't finish. This is another question. I mean, the thing is they haven't gone into her condition enough, and they probably never will.
YouTube, Gary Rich, questioning things or policy is a healthy conversation or debate. I'll take 2 degrees over 100 years, 4 degrees over 200. I have barrels of sunscreen.
Barrels of sunscreen. I question: is she competent enough to live on her own? I'm not sure that she actually is. We probably will never know, right? But I'm just saying, you're putting somebody like that out on the world
YouTube,
stage.
Uzi Knesset, the scary thing about her condition is she may very well be pressured into suicide over this stuff.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't think when you're talking about emotions, somebody with Asperger's is not capable of moderating their emotions because they can't see past their hyper focus issue that they care about, right? And it's some of the things that they are saying out there are hysteria. It's just straight up. I mean, I've read all of the articles about the studies. I'm familiar with the numbers, okay? And the numbers do not back up what a lot of the rhetoric that people are throwing out here, okay? We're not going to die. We're just not going to die. The science does not say that. And it's irresponsible to be going out on television and saying those sorts of things. That is hysteria. You are propagating mass hysteria when you do that. And I think it's irresponsible to be putting somebody that's prone to that out on television and utilizing basically a sympathetic character in a child to propagate mass
YouTube,
hysteria.
Gary Rich, who has influenced her and shaped her thinking.
Oh, it's definitely her parents. Her parents are liberal as all get out. I mean, there's no question about that. And it's quite common for somebody autistic to pick up interests like
YouTube,
that based
Uzi
on
Knesset,
trying to please somebody else. Okay. I mean, that's then another thing that's kind of funny about it, right? Like, okay, normally if there was a kid that was really concerned about climate change and they were out there making a difference in the world, what would be the next step? They go to school and they become a climate scientist, and then they can tell us all of the things that we need to know about climate change. And, all of that good stuff. Or maybe they go into nuclear power, or who knows whatever it is that they choose to do, and they fix it and they make it better, right? This individual can't do that because she has her condition affects her so much so that she can't finish school. So she doesn't even completely understand the
YouTube
science.
Ace Trades morning.
Bothers me. I probably shouldn't talk about it so much because it's not really terribly important. But and you know what's another interesting thing about that? Just before we go, conservatives care more about it than liberals do. Like the liberals were certainly pushing it and talking about it, but I heard almost nothing about it through any of my people on Facebook. I had saw one post on Facebook about it. I saw, one or two posts on Reddit about it, but on the Donald subreddit, it was like half of the posts. Wow. They care much more about her than everybody else. Which I guess, my audience tends to...
YouTube Ace Trades possible short if it comes back down to 3,003.50.
3.50, that's a little further away than normal. I'm a little skeptical about that, though, because the Treasuries appear to be failing here. Now, we got to be careful about the Treasury trade to short here, right? There's a really good chance because they saw '08. Yes, because we saw '08. '06 to '05 pullback is a pretty good bet. They might try and push it down the other direction and then overextend and then push up and make another new high. So we've got to be very cautious here. In fact, I might take both of these contracts off at 05.5 if they give it to me. But I took that because I could see it failing. So Ace says short if the E-mini started to fall out. Well, 03, 05, and then you could see 02. That would be the bottom of the profile. And then a low of the day would be possible. That would mean the Treasuries would have to kick back up. But let's see. It hasn't actually triggered his order yet, right?
YouTube Gary Rich repo still needing funding. The bond participants are showing the squeeze.
Yeah, although as far as I can tell, aside from when the news first hit and all of the traders were unsure what to make of it, and there was all of that chaos from that, it doesn't appear to actually materially affect our market. As far as I can tell from reading the action and trying to understand as much about the issue as I can. And as far as I can tell, one of the major causes of the squeeze is buyers from Europe coming in and sucking up all of the treasuries. So it doesn't necessarily tell us anything deeper about the economy, for instance, or the health of banks or anything like that. Like, I think that we tend to assume when we hear this funding crisis, repo, these are words, right? We're kind of programmed to think, oh, the banks are in trouble, and it's not. This is not an accurate picture of what's going on. There's just a lot of forces have combined together and conspired together to make cash tight. Okay, so they hit into 07, and there was a decent amount offering there. I would have liked to have seen it just go down through. It still could.
YouTube, Gary Rich. I'll post some great links in your Discord which discusses these repo funding.
Yeah, please do. So I posted a link a couple of days ago where somebody gave a really good explanation of why they're actually having the crunch. And it's a complicated system, and apparently not even the banks completely understand why. But the the kind of the insider theory that I haven't seen discussed a whole lot is that there is a shortage of cash out there because the Europeans are buying it all up. And so all I'm saying is that doesn't really tell you anything significant about the health of the economy or anything like that. E-money still kind of. I mean, it looks like they might be turning, but so far they haven't done it. Have come down though. Treasury testing the sell side again. Not a lot of contracts coming through though. My back all sorts of jacked up. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I just like popped my whole spine.
YouTube, Gary Rich. It's a broad factors of these funding issues. Very complicated.
It's very complicated, yeah. And that's one of the things that I find very interesting about this. I don't think I've ever seen a situation in markets myself where there was such a skew in information. Like, I think the truth of the matter is that the only people that really even kind of understand what's going on are the people that are actually trading these overnight rates markets over the counter with each other. And even they are a little bit uncertain about why, you know. It's kind of. And apparently when the rate spikes up like that, the effect on the bank isn't even that bad. Although that could certainly something they could go south very quickly if you really let it go out of control, right? Hmm. Hmm. Do I follow the United Nations? I did not know that I follow the United Nations on Twitter. Huh. That is the first time that I've ever seen them on my feed. Okay, so they traded down into '06 and
YouTube,
they're
Gary
kind of
Rich.
fighting it a little
Yes, the
bit.
primary dealers are not willing to sell their treasury notes.
Yeah, the primary deal. Yeah, exactly. No, they want to hold it for their carry trade. I think that's what it's. I think that's the main thing, right? Like my understanding is, okay, you take a loan in Europe, and then you take it over to the United States, and you buy treasury with it. And you don't want to give that treasury up because if you don't buy the treasury, then you're not hedged, essentially. And so they don't want to part with that cash. It's worth more, and that's why the Federal Reserve has to put more out. Because they basically have to counter the market demand, otherwise it'll spiral out of control. Okay. Shoved it down fairly forcefully there. And they traded into '05 half without a whole lot of coercion. Um, Going to adjust a few things here because of that. They did kind of pull at 05, but they didn't clear it. The 5-year looks like ready to just like plummet compared to the other ones. That's the one I think we gotta watch for the lead here. So like they're not stacking on the offer at 0-0 half. So the other two aren't ready to go.
YouTube, Gary Rich, yes. It's collateral issue and we experienced this May 2018 but it was not mentioned or remembered.
Really? Yeah, I do not remember that at well. I remember things being crazy in May of 2018. I do remember that. But I don't remember what was going on. I seem to recall that was the year where in February we had like the flash crash basically happened. And then in May, there was, I think it was kind of more trade concerns and all sorts of crazy stuff going on. And it was like another series of craziness happened. And then over the summer, we recovered, right? I can go like way back. 2018, April, May, yeah. There was the big liquidity crash in February, and then from April into May, it was just extremely volatile. And then things were fine until October. And then in October, things really fell apart. And then in
YouTube,
December,
Gary
there
Rich,
was that
February
whole thing.
2018 was a huge volume spike.
Yep. February 2018 was one of the most interesting. I did really well in that action, actually. But I had never... it was interesting because it was something that was like theoretically possible, and everything that I knew about reading order flow was like, this is what's going to happen and how it works and how you should play it. And I did it, and it all totally worked out, but it was not something that I ever thought I would see. And I knew that like a flash crash could happen, but that was like there was a flash crash, and then the liquidity was destroyed for like the whole rest of the month. I'm a little concerned because I was a little concerned about some of the action that we saw here around like, I want to say like late July, August, because they did the same thing. Like the summer liquidity was kind of building up a little bit, and then that crash came, and it was like less liquidity than was normal even in the summer, and it still hasn't completely recovered because I mean, we're putting 3,000s on, and that's normal. But earlier in the year, like in the first quarter of this year, they were trading fives at every level, you know? So what happened to the liquidity? Hmm. Okay. So on that one, okay, yeah, the 5-year did move. I'm just at 04 half. It's 4 ticks, so I'm kind of thinking it through here. There was, okay. So this is a possible turning point. I'm gonna put it because they're not really aggressively trading into that 04 half. Luke, it might hold here and go higher again.
YouTube, Gary Rich, February 18th they blamed 14 for the correction, it was deeper than that. Just like End 18 credit MKTS seized up for a week. Signs of things to beware of.
Well, I think I mean, it's the robots. The thing that that I remember quite vividly from that, because we were streaming, we can go back and watch those days. I remember going on huge rants about robots and saying, see, this is what happens. This is why it's not good that all of the market making has gone to the robots. You need to have some people, because the robots, they basically turned the robots off for the week because they lost too much money. And then what the market is just left at the mercy of the swings. And it was crazy. The same thing happened in December. Like that low that they made in December, I wasn't trading those days, because the piece of advice has always been that you don't trade those days because the liquidity sucks. Everybody's on vacation. And what happened? Some of the robots took a hit. They turned them off and people started selling, and it was basically a flash crash, and they went way further than they ever should have. Way further than they ever should have, simply because they did it at that particular time. And I kind of think that the sellers, because that whole thing kind of felt a little manufactured to begin with, I think that the sellers did it on purpose. Listen, you see it in Bitcoin too, right? If you want to sell an asset and you want to create panic, do it when liquidity is low.
YouTube, Gary Rich. When we get any type of volatility spike, the algos hunt and bids go away.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another funny thing, is that it's not like the volume completely dries up, right? It's just like nobody puts bids or offers up. But that's why I say, like, the way that you trade it, you just swing for it. Swing for it, but don't leave the risk on for very long. You catch one, you get the move and you get out, even though some of them are running, because you can't afford to have it whip on you, and it can do so very quickly. You just go in, get the thing that you need, and then get out. Because it's like, that's your time to shine, basically. It's like, everybody's out. People are always saying, I wish that I could trade before the algorithms came out. Well, there's your chance right there. They turned the robots off. Go get them, Rockstar. And you can make money. I mean, I did really well that week. So, okay, I finally got filled. It's interesting. All the guys in Discord are seeing it too. I took the exit at 04 half. I'm not seeing a lot hit into 04, and
YouTube,
kind of
Uzi
ranging
Knesset,
around
right
here.
into that 06, 07 LVN. Stazzy call there, skipper winking face.
Yeah, it was. I totally forgot about that. But you're right. They touched 07 and they reversed. But I wasn't really thinking about it from the 07 perspective. I was thinking of it from the, hey, I remember yesterday. Remember yesterday when we were at 07 half and I bought it and they moved down?
YouTube, Gary Rich. Remember July Powell speech? The moves in S or bonds were definitely algos parsing Powell's words, very specific.
Oh, yes. Totally true, Gary. I think so, yeah. Well, it's watching that those robots is interesting, because you can see spots where they get it wrong. Gold says Dow. Probably means down. What is gold doing? Ooh, yeah, the gold took a big hit. That's an ugly sell in gold. I see the euro kind of moving around based on this Brexit news. Yeah, sterling as well. Dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Trader, the whole system is massively skewed one way around in risk. Yeah. So this is you're bringing up a really good point, Gary. It's something that we haven't considered for a long time, but I feel that because of algorithms and index funds, that the market is way too one-sided right now. Which means that swings go further than they should, because the asymmetric price discovery mechanism built into markets isn't functioning correctly, because there's not a balanced portfolio of participants.
YouTube Ace Trades, is the S&P going to dance off of 3006.25 and head down to 2999.25?
Dance off 3,625. Push down 29.99.25. See that one for sure, dude. You can even see, well, that's interesting that everybody has their orders at 25 in the MES and they're at 3,000 in the E-mini. That would be an interesting move for them to make before the open, though, right? I'm assuming that when you say that you're looking for that to happen off of the open, yeah? New message goes out from Tory whips to all of their MPs. 3-line whip tomorrow and Thursday. It's safe to say we should expect fireworks. Brexit. European Parliament head says important decision from UK Supreme Court to rule propagation of Parliament unlawful. Any Brexit agreement needs to be approved by both the UK and EU Parliament. Proper democratic scrutiny on both sides is necessary. Although I wonder, because the whole reason he shut it down was because they wanted to make a law that would prevent no-deal Brexit, right? Do they actually have the votes? Or did they actually have the votes? That was questionable at the time. Now that all of this has happened, the probability of them actually passing it has maybe increased. At least if this was an American bill, that's what I would have said. I don't know if British react the same way. Who is this person?
YouTube, Gary Rich, passive, indexing, all of the above has amplified these moves. It's a new playing field and paradigm.
Yeah, it amplifies the moves. And the VIX too, right? We got this guy. He's so awesome, by the way. If you guys haven't gone into on the Discord, and I have a VIX channel, and there's this one guy. What is his name again? Porter Bagholderson. And he posts his VIX trades that he gets in there. It's amazing stuff. The trades that he's made. And he's been able to call it. There's all these guys shorting volatility out there, and it made some of those moves bigger because you had like this risk thing going off. I say personally, I mean, I don't know how you resolve it, but my what is the word? My issue, like the thing that I feel like I want most to get out to people, and maybe I should spend more time on it than I do, but I want more people to buy stocks. And I'm not talking about investing in an index fund. I mean actually saying I want to own shares of this company and this company and this company. The more individuals that we have out there that are participating in that process, the healthier it is for the free market. And what has happened is everything that we're doing in the system is discouraging people from doing that. We've told them all, you should put it in an index fund and let us manage it. And what do? I mean, because I think I think the only way that you get people to stop doing that is if you make it illegal. And I don't like that because I don't think that if you have to exert control in order to get what you want, then what you're proposing is probably evil. So what do we do to get them to do it? You know, we need to have a market regime where value actually pays off, and we say, well, yeah, the S&P made 10% this year, but if you made the picks and it wasn't hard to make the picks, the managed funds made twice that, we need more people investing. That's the long and the short of it. Oh, so what did European Parliament say here? Important decision from UK Supreme Court to rule propagation of Parliament unlawful. Any Brexit agreement needs to be approved by both the UK and Parliament. Proper democratic scrutiny on both sides is necessary.
YouTube IQ ZB gonna hit 16 today? For what it's worth, L at 29.
Which 16? Which 16? 162.16 or 161.16? Because we're kind of like equally far away from either of those. I wonder if that spike right there was the get out before the E-mini trades, or if they're going to have another one.
YouTube IQ shit if I am long. YouTube IQ take your pick. YouTube Gary Rich active versus passive is like the tortoise and hare story. Halfway through the race the tortoise is shot, lol. But true. YouTube Uzi Knesset if he long at 29 he probably means 62 16 lol.
Yeah, he probably means 162.16. I think that 162.16 is more likely to touch than 161.16. But I also think that we're going to get consumer confidence before that happens. It's not going to happen in the next 30 minutes. So we'll see how the E-mini turns. Maybe we can get a short trade between 7:15 and 8 o'clock my time. And then after that, then we can see if they actually move up or if everybody shuffles. But the main reason why I say I would favor higher is, one, because all of the biases, and I haven't loaded my levels here, but if I just come in and load levels, okay, We're above the opening range high. We're above the bull bear zone. We're above, the open. The open was at 133 and
YouTube IQ, make sure
161.26.
it does not become a loser, so my stop is in at 30.
Gotcha. So, and we're above the VWAP. So everything says to me that it's a buy day. And
YouTube Uzi Knesset 29 was yesterday's POC in ZB. Support there bodes well for higher.
Yeah. And when we came down here, there was attempts to push it down, and they've been able to tick into 06. So at least a 4-tick reversal here down on the bottom. Could be more. Probability favors that they're going to buy it up, but we're not in it because of E-mini about to open risk. So yeah, I think that we could go up and we could make a new high and maybe even possibly trade 162.16. Because if they trade a new high in ZB into 09, then they're completely free at that point to go up to 162.16, which was yesterday's high. So maybe even a little bit past that. UK Prime Minister Johnson says we should have an election. Oh, man. This is another thing that's really funny about the whole Brexit thing, is that they don't want to do a new election. It's like, you can't do anything over there. Honestly, it's quite surprising that they ruled the suspension of Parliament, unanimously ruled it illegal. But, what's the end effect of it? They still can't do squat over there. It's basically like, okay, they prevent a no-deal Brexit, and then they go back to the negotiating table, and now they literally have no leverage because they are required by law to accept the deal from the European Union or not get out. And then the European Union gives you a deal that's shitty, and then you don't want to do it, and you can't
YouTube
get them to pass
IQ
that
on 15
deal.
minutes swing HG equals 162-16.
And then eventually, you're either going to have to have a new election or you're going to have to no Brexit. Silly. People in the UK, for you guys in Europe, people in the UK aren't falling for that, right? Everybody knows that this is all just political maneuvering to try and reduce the chances of Brexit happening. Mm-hmm. Manhattan DA responds to president efforts to block the release of his tax returns. 158 of 235 Democrats are in favor of impeachment. That's not enough. Here comes the E-mini. Should have reset the DOM there. Oh well. The levels in the E-mini, that was. Well, first impulse, as it has been for several days now in a row, several weeks now in a row, the first impulse in the E-mini is
YouTube
down.
Gary Rich buyback blackout starts this week and next 3 weeks, maybe tight thin moves.
Well, that's a good point. There's less buying out there in the market. Well, but it also favors selling, right? Hmm.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Yes, more of possible selling on ES.
It's also kind of interesting because I thought yesterday in the ES it was a prime opportunity for them to kill it, and they didn't go for it. So, what are you going to do? Try and do it again today? I don't know if today's setup is better or not. But there's aces won a 3,250 finally. Obviously, we don't want to trade it here in these first 5 minutes, but we might end up turning back and saying, "Oh, I wish I could have sold it there." Nathan Rotham, it's be a tragedy if this administration's total lack of any legislative agenda was derailed by an impeachment inquiry. The stakes are just too high. I don't think that they're going to do it. I have to admit, though, that the probability of it is enough that. Let's see what Predictus says about this. Impeachment. Predict now. Okay. Oh my. Will. Oh, this is no. What's okay? During Donald Trump's first term as president of the United States, the full U.S. House of Representatives shall, by simple majority vote, approve or pass one or more articles of impeachment of President Trump. Neither trial nor conviction by the U.S. Senate nor removal from office is necessary to cause this market to resolve as yes. Ta-da! And the best offer is 53 right now. So there, and that has changed. Yesterday it was 36. So the betting market and the high was actually 57. So the betting market is coming in and betting yes, or at the very least they see a very significantly increased chance. But we also have to keep in mind the site does tend to skew liberal, and they tend to get overly excited on that sort of a thing. There's E-mini just kind of chopping around. Although Treasuries did take a pretty good little trade up there, didn't they?
YouTube, Gary Rich, VIX and Treasury volume, TYVIX, in strong disagreement since early August.
Hmm. Well, down here at 04.5 when I got out, it was definitely a reversal. You get 4 points going back the other direction. From here, though, I don't know if I could take it for new high or not. 06 to 08 half. It's possible. It's just a question of like, there's going to be a little bit of a pullback or any kind of, you know, trickery nonsense here. Stocks open higher on U.S. China trade. There's the news headline. I'm going to say not real well. I guess they are higher. Higher compared to yesterday. And they did, is that? Yeah, they did close the gap. So, who knows? I don't think that they're going to do it. Okay, so what was the number again? What was the number? And Jake Sherman says it won't start today. 158. Okay. 535. So they need 267. And they have 158 guaranteed. So they would need 100 more senators or 100 more representatives to say yes. What's the party breakdown here? There are 235 Democrats. So you would need 30 Republicans to break with them. Right? Wait, I thought that they did have a majority. $535. Oh. 435. Okay. 217. So if all Democrats voted yes, then for sure they would do it. They have 135. So they need like 50, 70 more. They find that in the Democrats, yes. They're caucusing about it, though. Probably Nancy Pelosi still has the ability to just yes or no it. Would she actually take that risk? I don't think that. If I was Nancy Pelosi, I wouldn't do it. I don't think it'd be worth the risk. And to be honest, the accusation that's being made, I don't think is a. What do I say? I don't think that it has a legal basis. Like they're saying you can't solicit a campaign donation from a foreign entity. You can. It's not a campaign donation. You can get any kind of information you want from a foreign entity, and I have never seen a court case that proves otherwise, because it's not a thing of value. You can't. How do you put a number on it to report for the taxes? And that's the only reason why that's the law, is to prevent in-kind contributions where you like do work for free or something like that. So I don't think that you would ever get a conviction for something like that in court. So the E-mini definitely took a good run there on the highs, and the Treasuries came back down. And they look a little panicked, but they are actually taking it. Let's watch this spot. 3,000 bought 05. 1,000 to break 04 half, but it stays there. ES can't make up its mind. Well, there was a strong buy there. This might be the first golden signal we've seen in a while. Not able to take 04 half offer. 05 goes bid. It's easy to get FOMO about that, but the way that this level 2 is showing me here, would probably stick here for a little bit. President Trump at UN says U.S. does not seek conflict with other nations, but will defend America's interests. Downtick, not on a lot. Big iceberg at 007 in the 5-year. Yeah, big stack at 05. I'll put a little bit of risk on off of that. So it coincides with my where they seem to be pushing in my daily directions, and then they get a good bid. Could be a good spot. There was a bid at 050. So there was a huge bid way down here, like a whole point away at 050, down here. And he pulled it, and then it showed up here at 05 half. An uptick. Tepid one, though. Is the E-mini going to turn here or not? Wondered if is Ace still there? Is he going to take it? Still want to take a short? Let's reload this right here. They took 05 half with 600. And we're not getting the bid support that we had before. Okay. Gonna trade into the 01, yeah. Talking about the 5-year right here.
YouTube, Ace Trades, I'm here, just no clue what she is doing, might be looking at a short here at 3006.25.
Because
YouTube, wrong ZH, maybe no.
maybe no. It does seem weird, but you look at my chart here. I don't know if you can see that very well. You see here now that we're up at the top. Level 2 activity in the mini is increasing.
YouTube, wrong ZH, that was small resistance.
And then when you combine that with some of the strange things that we're seeing in the 10-year, it suggests that the E-mini is going to sell. In fact, I feel confident enough about that one to take it where Ace said. Where's this order at 07? Was that always there? It was. Okay. So far, I'm not liking it. Yeah. Treasuries did come up there, but they shied away from the big order at 07.
YouTube, Ace Trades, sorry, that was a horrible idea.
I don't know if it was a horrible idea or not, dude. You might just have the exact spot wrong, but something definitely happened there. On the Treasury side, at least. Okay, just step up to it again. Nope.
YouTube, Gary Rich, S wants to push up but keeps failing.
Yeah. I think that they're going to stop me out first. I mean, look at that. Boom. Okay. It's okay. I'm unhappy about it, but it's okay. UK, France, and Germany say it's clear Iran attacked the Saudis. Okay. Let's wait until after the consumer confidence number and then see where the ES is at. Okay. It would be funny if they come back down here to the price. Because it's been a typical thing for me with that signal for it to go a little bit further. But I still okay. I think that the strategy is that we took a trade there and we were supposed to. Well, we're holding a better bid now at 06 half in the 10-year. but there's not a ton of volume going into '07 yet. I suspect that if they trade through it, that it might happen very quickly. Somebody might just come through with the big old order, you know? You know how that happens? You know how that works? There's going to be a gigantic collision. Also, note that there is not a lot of liquidity at '07 half, which is a little suspicious. Okay. Okay. Take back up to it. See if they can build up over 2,000 contracts there at '06 half. They're absorbing some hits. Looks like a pullback at higher time frame target, a bit high, 14 to 17. Not sure there'll be enough fuel to go there. There's the collision. It was a mix of orders to do it. The largest one being 1957. '07 half still very low. I'd expect them to take it at that point. They're not. '02, same. Like everything looks positioned for them to trade higher, and they're not. That's a little suspicious. Come on. Well, the E-mini is not cooperating. That maybe is part of it. So I can see some retail lots hitting into it. This makes me uncomfortable. It's not any kind of exit signal that I have tested, though, so I don't think that I should just hit out here. Okay, now they're getting a little... Okay. There they go. Now they're buying in '08 too. And it looks like Discord is under attack again this morning. The past couple of days this week, there's been lag on Discord from DOS attacks, and it looks like they're doing it again. My only response to trolls from now on will be, "How dare you?" from Cat. I don't know who this guy is. I'm not sure that he's like somebody that I want to like directly associate myself with or anything like that, because I don't know what his political ideology or anything like that is. But he is a funny guy. He is a funny guy, is all I can say. Bitcoin hash rate down by 30%. Anyone know why? It looks very unhealthy. Does it really? Oh, nobody come in today and ask us about Bitcoin. Isn't that weird? They're down. No, it's not. That's not an exit signal. What am I doing, Seth? No, it is an exit signal. I see it in the 30. Okay. Okay. 4. That's fine. We can be happy with that. All right. Let's see if it goes through. So there's a pretty good possibility when you see them pushing like that, especially at the high, there's a pretty good possibility that there's going to be a reversal, but there's usually going to be
YouTube
some sort
Ace
of
Trades. I'm
impulse.
willing to go long. I just need a pullback for heck's sake.
You willing to go long? Well, so what is the? Are we getting? I mean, we've had a little bit of this every day now. The buy all of the things trade. Treasuries certainly moved higher, and now the E-mini is kind of been buying as well. Although it still makes me a little nervous because, I mean, look at all of that cumulative delta long, and then you look at how far they've actually gone. It's kind of not. It's not terribly amazing, but we got data here in like 90 seconds. So let's just, you know, let's just wait and see what it does. So what is the numbers that we're looking for?
YouTube Ace Trades 3008.25 long. I am sure I will turn the market for everyone.
Okay. As long as you know that CV consumer confidence is in a minute. And that is considered a fairly significant number. So we are expecting a reading of 134.1 versus a previous reading of 135.1, and that is quite high. I think there's a good chance that it does not meet that. If it did.
YouTube Ace Trades, and just as I placed that, got a short signal.
Wow, really? So if the consumer confidence number ends up being good, then they're just going to buy this. If it's like even close to equal. Okay, so here comes the number. Higher. Not where I wanted. Treasuries really ran there though, didn't they? Okay, so it was 125 versus 133. So it was bad. It was really bad. The E-mini's not just going on it though. Come on, turn here. Better. So if we start beating out like those open prices, and then 3001 is the
YouTube,
overnight
Gary
low.
Rich, not much on data.
Not much on data. Oh, the expectations. What was that number? Somebody's saying something about that. Richmond Manufacturing Index was -9 versus an expected 2. I think this is a good sell. I don't know about my spot, but just look at the way that Treasuries bought up there. We got out at what? Oh, wait, half, something like that? No. We bought it at 05 half. And we got 07 half? I don't know. Anyways. The E-mini is not cooperating with me today, is it? Just sell it. Sell like you were supposed to. Ace, please tell me that you were able to get out of that in time when you got your short signal. Ugh. I think that the ES should sell, but if the trade here clearly from the reaction in treasuries is that the Federal Reserve may have to lower rates further, or they would get a third rate reduction this year, or maybe even a fourth one. The E-mini, that's positive for the E-mini in some respects. And so you could see it where it does sell, but it just doesn't sell as hard. Man, if they just straight up bought on that news, I'm gonna be scared a little bit. So far, though, I'm a little displeased on how this is moving. It should be down there. They should be pushing like the overnight low, in my opinion, and they're not. Come on, there goes the treasuries are just saying more. Come on, go. Sell it. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So is 3,075 the lowest they ever got? I guess it is. So let's keep an eye on that. They're coming down there awfully quickly. Okay, so there they touch it.
Block buy.
Jeez. Really? Where was that at? 14. Normally when you get a thing like that, that can be kind of create a node around it, given the context. They might continue on from here even. I think my target now has to be the 19 in the treasury. Well, there's 16. There's 16. There's nothing at 19 and there's something at 20. I don't know if this justifies a trend day or not. It certainly could, though. Are they going to make another push here? America's confidence expectations tumbled to 2019 lows. You know, it's kind of funny when you think about it that a consumer confidence number of 125 is like a really bad thing. It is because it's turning around, but at the same time, we were at like ridiculous
YouTube,
levels.
I just cut myself on a falling knife.
Oh, really? Rackley, did you try and buy that Bitcoin on the dump? Something weird is going on in Bitcoin, and I don't know what, but this sell is different. This one, I don't think that necessarily means that it has to continue lower, but this one is not just some trap.
YouTube, Brackley 3, leveraged.
Oh, dude.
YouTube,
I'm so
Brackley
sorry.
3, YEAA.
I'm so sorry, dude. Yeah, and the reason I say that this one is a little different is because I'm seeing reports that the hash rate changed. So something happened. I mean, I'm assuming that might mean like maybe somebody got shut down. I don't know. It suggests, though, that there's something going on in cryptocurrencies that we're not aware of. Fox News apologizes after guest calls Greta Thunberg mentally ill. Yes, let's be careful. She has a disorder. It's not the same thing as mentally ill, as far as I understand, but I don't know what the correct terminology in all of this is, so whatever.
YouTube, Brackley 3. I dunno either, but continue as you were. Didn't mean to hijack the stream.
That's totally, I mean, they're all focused on, I think they're all focused on this action. I think that they have positions on.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Didn't the hash rate half soon on BTC?
I think that it was, I don't know. I don't know, man. I really honestly don't understand what's going on. So here's a thread on r/Bitcoin about it 30 minutes ago.
YouTube, Brackley 3. Halves.
Bitcoin.
YouTube, Brackley 3. No, emission halves in April is not the same as hash rate.
Okay. Hash rate is down by 30%, by the way. And I see a thread about it. There's only one comment. Hash rate nosedives 40% in flash crash as Bitcoin price slumps. Okay, let's check r/cryptocurrency. There's a thread about the BAKKT futures.
YouTube, Gary Rich. S appears to fight towards 3001 or 3000.80.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of a hard spot for me because obviously I'm biased to the downside anyways, you know? But I'm just kind of sitting here like, well, with that piece of news, why wouldn't they go past the overnight low? And I would have expected that they would have blown right through it on that first test, and yet they didn't. So what's going on? I don't know. It's not quite behaving the way that I would expect, but would I be able to make the call on the E-mini that precisely? Certainly not, right? So I can just kind of sit and wait, I guess.
YouTube, Gary Rich. I'm biased to the downside on S the next 3 weeks.
Litecoin falls 16% in flash crash. Here's something about the hash rate again. But there's only one comment on it. So this is where I'm saying there's something wrong, right? Like when we had cells before, oh look, now they're gonna do it? Come on. Stop toying with me. Just sell it. Gosh. Kidding me, guys? Look, it's one price. It's 50 well, okay, it's 200 contracts. That is a lot of money. I should be patient and understanding with the wells. Okay, they got to get their thing, and whether or not I make money or not is probably
YouTube,
the last thing on their
Trump
mind.
Talking.
Donald Trump is speaking now. He's speaking at the UN right now. That's right. Okay, so they did break the overnight low by a tick.
YouTube, Brackley 3. If hash rate drops 30% on Bitcoin, it's going to get mined too fast. They don't adjust
Don't
difficulty
adjust the
fast enough.
difficulty fast enough. What could possibly cause that, though? Do you think that somebody got shut down? Anyways, okay, so let me back up. There was a comment that I was going to say, and then I got distracted because I'm so ADHD, okay? When we've had sells below 10K before, and it happened, there was a lot of activity on social media. It was like everybody was concerned, everybody was freaking out about it dropping below 10K. And I'm looking at it and I was like, well, it seems like they're too concerned. And there are people out there, and they've shown this, there are people out there um, manipulating uh, social media sentiment, and is particularly on Reddit. So here we have something extremely significant happened, and nobody on Reddit is saying a peep about it. Right? That's a significant change, and that's why I say this drop below 10K in Bitcoin. I think you should pay attention to it. That huge wall at 06 and ZF sure stopped buyers from going higher before. And in fact, it's down here towards the bottom of this. It is now turning into slice and dice. It's basically become a meat grinder in this 8-tick range here. What's with that? And the treasuries are coming back quite aggressively. But after a move like that, it's not unexpected. Iran's President Rouhani says open to discussing small changes, additions, or amendments to nuclear deal if sanctions lifted. Yeah, I don't think that that's going to work. Okay. So the treasuries just hit an iceberg at 11.5. Actually, they kind of hit some volume across the board there. And the 5-year is giving me another possible turn. Are they just reacting to what Donald Trump is saying, and are they holding because they care about his speech? How long is he going to speak for? I wouldn't expect him to say anything terribly important to markets, but if the robots are going to pay attention to it, that's what they're going to do. We would just keep a close eye here on the squawk. Francis Macron hopes for progress on Iran in coming hours. Well, that sure wouldn't know that based on the other Iran-related thing that just came through the wires. Okay, and they are moving here. Trump says we'll finalize trade deal with Japan on Wednesday. Cool. I'm gonna lose a $25 winner, aren't I? Fetch. Come on, Trump, start talking hawkish on the trade war thing. Tell China they need to shape up. They do. Ooh, look at that. There you go. There you go. By the way, I told myself if I got 40 that I would take it yesterday. Because I don't know how far it's going to go. I can cancel it. Sure. Well, this is a wild ride. Are you guys enjoying this? Because I'm kind of like, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this right now. That's a little bit too much for me. They're going to go down to my 40 now? Go do it. We can still cheer for it even though I'm out. Sell it, sell it. Fine. Don't. China hasn't adopted promised reforms. There you go. So they're trading. If they're, listen, I think that situation, I got lucky and I made $20 today. Let's just be grateful for that because you don't know what he's going to say. There's no way to predict that.
YouTube, Lucas, yup, I like this action actually. I hated what we saw during summer and previous weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you what, if there's one, well, this is kind of a unique situation because it's Donald Trump, of course. But if there's the one period of time where I think I've screwed up my reads more than anything else, it's during the press conferences after the FOMC meeting, you know? And this is like a similar thing. I caught a point, I caught a good trade. I think that I should just be grateful, you know? You know? Look at Treasuries go, though. I did say buy down there, didn't I? Okay, well, there would have been my 40. Now they're just gonna like
YouTube,
crash
Lucas,
like I thought.
blessed.
Blessed. There you go. I should consider myself blessed. Consider myself blessed, and who knows? I really don't know. I can look at this and be like, oh, I could have made $50. But the truth is I really don't know how far it's gonna go. This is my problem. It's like Treasuries, I can tell. Like back there at 11, like at 10.5, there was a 3,000 traded, and I saw the spikes and was like, okay, you could maybe buy it here again. Did I say that? I think I even said it at the time, didn't I? Would have been a good trade. But in E-mini, I don't know what I'm looking for. Just I'm still on the ES. I'm at the point of like unconscious
YouTube,
incompetence.
Wimmer Kevin, are you watching the Trump speech?
I'm not watching it at the moment. I'm just reading the squawks. Trump says hopes US China can reach a trade deal that is good for both countries. Cool. See, this is like, I don't know.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, listening live. Trump says deal will be done on Wednesday. Next sentence. China hasn't adopted promised reforms.
Yeah, and you can see the market was buying it, and I'm like, why don't they just say something? You know what? I should have had it open because what I was saying when you put it up next to his speech, it's going to be pretty funny. I tell you what, one of you guys go after the video, after the stream and make a video.
Hit those 3,000.
Go and, overlay our stream with what Donald Trump was saying at the time. And I'll be like, come on, Trump, stop saying nice things. We want this to sell. Say China needs to shape up. And
YouTube,
sure enough,
Greg
that's
Orlovsky.
what he said.
He's
and
on
we
to
sold.
Iran now.
He's on to Iran now. So Macron was speaking hopeful about Iran, What is Donald Trump going to say?
YouTube, Lucas, can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
No, unfortunately. So you want, here, we're going to do this, okay? Going to take that. Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
YouTube, Gary Rich, remember the next set of tariffs hit deck.
Hit December. No, they pushed those off, right? Or they pushed them off until January. Am I wrong? Okay, so here we go. Here we are on Google's page. I'm going to change it to say, can Morgan Freeman read my comments? And now I will play with you the different voices that you can hear. Oh, I have to tell it that I'm not a robot first. Select all images with buses.
YouTube, Brackley 3, need more upvotes.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
There you go. That's voice A.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
That one kind of sounds more like your traditional text-to-speech voice, doesn't it?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
D.
YouTube, Gary Rich, delayed some of them.
Can
China
Morgan
claimed
Freeman
to buy
read my
commodities
comments?
from USA but didn't show up.
China claimed to buy commodities from USA but didn't show up. Let me repeat.
Can
This is
Morgan
the
Freeman
default
read
voice.
my comments?
That's the default voice.
YouTube, Lucas, face with tears of joy.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
And then I think F is the one that we're using, right?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
I like that one because it's like the most feminine voice to me. So, but I have it sped up, right? I have it sped up by like 1.25 or something.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
Right. But we could make it way faster. Like, what about 1.6?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
And here's double.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
I've never messed with the pitch, so let's change it back. Pitch. Really low. Whole octave lower.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
What if I make it an octave higher?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
What the fetch? What?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments? YouTube, Lucas, that's Morgan Freeman on helium. Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
How low do I have to get until it's not?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments? YouTube, Gary Rich, do you have Hulk Hogan voice? Come on, brother, get this market going.
Oh man. No. Those are all the voices. And then you can do the non-WaveNet voices, which are like your typical ones, you know, like Microsoft Bob or whatever. But it doesn't sound nearly as fluid. I want to know how high can I get so that it's not like cracking.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
Even at 2.8, it's a little bit. So if I do, oh, it's really hard to, okay, I can do 0.8.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
Huh. And what if I do, as high as it'll let me go?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments? Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
Maybe if I pick one of the other female voices, what was it, C?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments? Can Morgan Freeman read my comments? YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Sounds like a triggered liberal biatch.
Well, that's why I was like, these ones. Which one is it? Is it E? I think it's this one.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
That, I don't like that voice at all. That girl voice. Even if I increase her pitch a little bit.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
So that's it pitched up quite a bit. That one just can handle the pitch better, I guess.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
So when it's
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. That's it.
Yeah. When you take her voice and you increase the pitch of it, then it starts to sound pleasant to me. I've just always been like, I tell you what, I just kind of
YouTube,
like knew.
Gary Rich. No sexy voices. Hey, big boy.
Right. When I was dating, that was one of the things that it was like, I knew already. It was like, I don't know how it started. I think one of the things was that when I was a teenager, I had a girlfriend that I talked to, and she had a really high pitched voice. And maybe that was kind of where, and I talked to her on the phone a lot, and maybe that's kind of where it started. But I like the extremely, like the feminine voice will get me going more than anything else. More than maybe, and red hair is, I like red hair, of course, too. But the voice is more. My wife has a pretty feminine voice. It's a very distinct voice. It's probably like the first thing that would stand out to you is the way that she talks. Because she's kind of got that high pitched voice. But then she also has like a Texas drawl, so it's. But anyways, it's funny. I'm playing that, and the higher pitched it gets, the
Can
more
Morgan
pleasant
Freeman
it is
read
to
my
me.
comments?
10.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
Then it starts to crack. So about 6 is about as high as I can take it.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
YouTube, Gary Rich. Do you have PTSD for squeaky voices?
It must be. It must be.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
Wait, they need to make one. Google, are you listening? Google, you need to make one that sounds like Morgan Freeman.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
I don't like that one either. That one sounds to me like somebody that's like, I don't know, not that intelligent or something. Now, can we get a sexy male voice? Like if we pitch it down and we do some of these male voices, do we get like maybe a Morgan Freeman kind of voice?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
No, that you sound so bored.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
B is better.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
And then E and F are, or wait, C is a guy too, right?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
So let's try it with B and like really pitch it down.
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments? Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
Can Morgan Freeman read my comments?
I'm sure that I could like record it and then put it into sound software and pitch it down that way, and you wouldn't get it all garbled. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that.
YouTube, Lucas. That voice sounds like he was short on that number release.
That, I tell you what, that move in Treasuries was something else, right? And it's unfortunate that I didn't get a long trade off of it or anything, but you know what? Like, we had 2 really good trades going into it. And I guess I could have taken that
Gary
one,
Rich, lol.
I guess I could have taken that one, but I was still busy, watching ES here. So where was that? Yeah, that was like right as it was, I'm like, what's going on? And then it came back out. It's fine because I was still focused on my E-mini trade. And since then, okay, so I'm seeing something interesting in the 10-year. I'm seeing some pushing for multiple bars. They might be done. Is Donald Trump still talking? Watch live. Watch live. President Trump is still
freedom and peace. In that mission, we are also committed to supporting those people.
He's still talking. I don't know why, but for some reason, large traders in the 10 and the 5-year got really interested in that location. And when you get that sort of a thing, the probability is that we're going to go down. I think, though, it's past my time, so now I don't take one. But hey, we got good signals today. Yeah, we did good. I'm happy about it. Oh, hey, by the way, Ace, are you still there? Because we're going to meet up today, yes? Yes, no, maybe so? I guess you can message me on Facebook about it. But he never responded after that. I was like, I don't know, there's some news. And then he's like, oh, I got long. Nope, now I got a short signal. And then I didn't hear from him. So I don't know if that means he stopped out of it or what. Oh, he's attacking Venezuela. And the Venezuelan lady is just reading a book. You know what, guys? Seriously. I mean, here's the thing why I don't want to. I probably should be listening to his speech. I don't want to right now because I feel like it's all theater, Doesn't matter. Yeah, ES is reversing. This is the sort of a thing that you let everybody get all hyperventilate about and then you read about later. How can I give you a set of rules to explain when it's something that you really want to sit and watch live and when not to? I think it's that when you want to watch live is when the emotional impact of a event matters more from a political perspective than anything else. So a really good example of this would be the Kavanaugh hearings, right? The way that was going to turn out was completely to do with how Americans felt as they watched her. And so to be able to predict what's going to happen and understand why it happened the way that it did, you had to be there and experiencing it with everybody else. With a UN assembly sort of a thing, not a lot of people care about that. And it's more what his messaging says to other world leaders and other countries. And this is something that you can analyze after the fact. And I don't think that you want to subject yourself to the emotional manipulation of it while it's happening live. And so that's why I'm not playing the sound on it. Plus, I'm just gonna want to take trades, and I know that I probably should just be sitting here like I've been. As long as he's talking, I'm not gonna take any more trades because I know that I lose. Those are my worst trades. Those are my worst trades. Even though there was a good one in there. I'm feeling good though. Like I'm glad that we made that $20. What does that put us at? I'm gonna look really quick. Let's count our chickens. Is that okay? I'm not gonna take any more trades, then it's okay for me to start counting chickens, right?
YouTube, Gary Rich. Watching UN speeches require popcorn and beer. More beer than popcorn.
There you go. And there you go. Okay, so there's the 23rd. We were at 34. So now we're basically at 50. Okay. So a little better than we were. But I still need about $50. I want to make, my goal here is to make $50 more in trading the E-mini. So 2 or 3 more trades, and then I think we'll be there. And I'll be really happy with my, where my account is. I think that's about it. What do we got later in the week? We should look here too. Okay, Wednesday.
Twitch 432HZ woke was good, my nigga. Bob Roskell.
Well, thank you. Okay, so Wednesday we have 2 FOMC members speaking, due to speak about the economic outlook and monetary policy at the Lake Forest Rotary Club Economic Breakfast in Illinois. Audience questions expected. That happens at 6 a.m. Wait, is that East? Yeah, that's our time. What the fuck? That can't be right.
Twitch 432HZ woke. OWH shit damn, we got a voice generator? FUCKKKKKKKKKKKKKKKKK.
Right. Not only do we have a voice generator, but we have a custom built voice generator that utilizes Google's advanced text to speech technology, which is more natural sounding. You won't hear this anywhere else on Twitch. We have the best text to speech robot on Twitch. Man, I didn't realize, but we do. We do. And I can turn it on and off if I want to as well.
Twitch 432HZ woke. You deserve that follow, man.
Wow.
Grinning face with smiling eyes.
Well, thank you very much. Most of our viewers are on YouTube. I have YouTube channels. So if you're interested in like learning more about the trading, which, you know, especially if you're younger, I say, hey, take a look at it. The worst that you can do is try it on sim and find out you suck at it, which is what most will happen. But most of you, dude, check it out. It's fun. And you can make some money from it because that's what we're really here about. So what were we going to say? Oh, yeah. There's got to be something wrong here.
Twitch 432HZ woke. Yay, have you heard of this app, Expert Options?
Expert Options. No, I have not. It's a
Twitch
mobile trading
432HZ woke. It's a mobile trading app.
Well, I'll tell you, it kind of depends on the way that you want to trade, right? So I know there's a lot of people out there doing like the YOLO thing with options, which is one way to do it. And you can like just get lucky and hit it big for sure, right? But if you want like a day trading, something that you could like make a living off of, you're probably better off trading futures, which is what we're doing here. I don't know why everybody goes into stocks and options. I think that that's just kind of like the place that society kind of leads them. But if you go through the numbers and everything else, futures is the best place to day trade. Now, if you are like a real quant and you want to crunch numbers a lot and everything like that, then that's another way to play options. And that's like a research
Twitch
way.
432HZ woke. Facts 100 points.
Yeah. Like options is kind of like, okay, well, here's a company, something's happening. I see an opportunity there. Now let's go and price the options and see if there's actually a good risk reward set up there and you know, you're doing all these number crunching in the simulator and stuff. And then you go, okay, yeah, it's good. So then you buy it. And that's, you know, that's the sort of thing that you enjoy doing. But the futures, it's kind of like we just watch the way that the instrument goes and we get a read on it based off of that. You can actually get reliable reads. If you look at what we did, we took 4 trades today. Oops, wrong window. We took 4 trades today. One of them ended up being completely wrong. but it was more than made up for by making 3 times as much in the subsequent trade in that same instrument. And then the 2 in the instrument that I know really well, I made 4 ticks and 6 ticks on. So yeah, that's how it works. Now granted, it takes a long time. Like, I've been doing this 3 years and I still have serious problems. Okay. So this is something that you would have to expect to practice every day for years until you get good at. And the market has to
Twitch
cooperate.
432 HZ woke. How much you made so far on this?
And you have to what is the word? And the market has to cooperate with you. But that's a good day. That's a good day on one contract. That's like $500 worth of margin. We could make $176. So there you go. How much have you made so far? So if I take it kind of all depends on the way that you want to look at it. So when you look at it in ZN and you look at like everything going back all the way to the time that I started, and you included live trades and sim trades, then I would say that I'm probably down by like several thousands of dollars because you make mistakes and you're learning and stuff. Okay. If you look at just when I traded live, I had one where I lost about 400, and then I had another one where I made 500 and I lost it. So like net, it's probably minus 400. But then we've turned around and we're starting to make some of that back because about 6 months or so we made a couple of changes and figured a few things out, and we've been doing a lot better. Now, if you just look at like what has been the performance since the summer, and you count the sim trades, so like a more accurate representation of what is the performance of my particular strategy in this market, we're up like 3,000, I think. But again, it kind of depends on a couple of different things about how you decide to cherry pick it. But the way that we've been trading, when the markets get volatile,
Twitch
works really, really well.
432 HZ woke. High risk in this market, yay?
Yes and no. So here's the thing is, you get very, very high leverage. So you can put $500 is the margin requirement for one contract, and it's $15 a tick. And if it moves 8 ticks, that's $125. Okay. So you're making like 25% of your money. Yeah. Very, very high risk, but probably you shouldn't be trading with only $500 in your account, because if you even lose a tick, then you won't have the margin for it anymore and they'll take you out of your position. Okay. So that's the first thing. But then the second thing is that you totally get to define the risk. So you could go and you could put, $1,000 in there and then say, I'm going to take a trade and I am only willing to lose 3 ticks, which is like $50 on this, and I would prefer to make 8, but maybe I only make 4 or whatever the thing is. But you can kind of define it like that. And there's so much liquidity in this market that it's very unlikely that you're going to lose more than what you set your stop for. Although it certainly happens. And we had one situation, I think it was last week, where some piece of news came out and there's a stop move that I think you could have gotten stopped out for 4 ticks, which is like 62.50. But anyways, so the point is you can define your risk, right? It's not like stocks, where like in stocks, you don't have margin. Instead, you have to put you have to buy shares and you say, well, I'll buy 1,000 shares and I'll use X percent of my money to do
Twitch
it.
432 HZ woke. That's wise advice right there.
Yeah. And then what if something crazy happens that, the company goes kaput and your position goes to zero? Extremely unlikely to happen, but that can happen. And in futures, it's not quite the same thing, right? So anyways, so it does look like that these FOMC speeches are at 6 a.m. my time, which is like 5 a.m. their time. So I don't know what the deal is with that. George is speaking at this Federal Reserve Plans for Faster Payments before Senate Banking Committee in Washington, D.C. at 8. The new home sales. Thursday, we have final GDP. Friday, personal spending. Okay. So today, even though we had a good move, today was a little bit, there was a lot of swings, wasn't there? So I think that we might continue to see that behavior tomorrow. And then Thursday, Friday, we got some big news, so we might have some better opportunities then. So I'll see you guys then. And then for those of you guys that are new, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that bell icon because then you get the notifications when we go live. And it's a lot easier to find the stream every morning. Here every morning.
Twitch 432HZ woke. I think it really boils down to know what you're really doing.
Yeah. And to know what you're really doing, you have to practice a lot, right? It's a lot of work. Probably for the amount of money that you make, it's probably not worth the effort. But if you enjoy it, then that doesn't matter to you. Doesn't matter to me. I love doing it. All right. So I've yapped enough. It is time for me to go into work. So I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.